The night the car exploded, I wasn't thinking about titles or headlines. I was counting breaths, his and mine, asking myself if I could steal one more from the smoke for a stranger who grabbed my wrist and said, "Don't take me to a hospital. Tell me if it were you, would you have listened to a dying man, or dragged him to the nearest ER and dealt with whatever storm followed?" My name is Nia Johnson. Village nurse, the person people find when the clinic shelves are bare and the bills still want their cut. That night, the pines were loud. The sky was that hard black that swallows your voice whole. And then I heard metal scream, glass spit, rubber burn. A black luxury car folded around a tree at the bend by the creek, the hood hissing like a snake. I ran without a coat, without a plan, with nothing but my satchel and a prayer that my hands would be enough. The door wouldn't budge, so I snapped a fallen branch, smashed. The window climbed into a pocket of heat that slapped my face and filled my lungs with knives. He was heavy in that expensive way, the weight of gym trainers and soft leather, not fields or factories. Blood slicked my arms, his watch caught the moonlight, and right as his eyes rolled back, he rasped, "No hospital. Hide me. Promise." Pattern interrupt. I promised. Sirens floated far off like a rumor, and a black SUV rolled slow on the highway, above windows so dark it looked empty. Yet I felt watched the way you feel a dog before you hear it bark. My gut answered for me. I raided the clinic shed, lashed 2 planks with my grandma's torn bedsheet, slid him onto that makeshift stretcher, and dragged heel by heel, inch by inch, whispering, "Lord, give me strength and meaning every word." Sparks from the wreck sprinkled my hair, and by the time I hit our road, my arms were on fire, his breath rattled like gravel, and my grandmother Mabel was standing on the porch with her nightgown, and that look that says, "Child, the storm you pulled just found our roof." We lay him on my bed, the quilt taking his blood like testimony. I cleaned soot from a face too handsome to be safe, stitched a gash with thread that didn't want to behave, cooled. His fever told my fear to sit in the corner and wait its turn. He woke once, tried to prop himself up on one elbow, winced and said, "Take me to a hotel, I'll pay you like ordering room service." "You can't even stand," I told him. "You're not going anywhere until I say you won't die on me." He gave me that look people with power give when you don't bend, annoyed, surprised the tiniest bit, amused. He scanned my room, peeling wallpaper, a shelf of textbooks, and the vision board over my desk with a sketch of the clinic. "I want to build a real clinic, not the patched bucket we work with now." "You want more than this," he said. I didn't answer. My best friend Kayla barreled in without knocking, because that's... Kayla took one look at him on my pillow and turned on that mischievous grin. "Businessman, huh?" she said, brushing imaginary dust off his sleeve, and he smirked like he was used to being entertained. I hated that I noticed. Then headlights breathed across my wall, that same SUV idling at the end of our road, no door opening, no horn, just the sense of teeth waiting. He whispered, "Don't trust them," and passed out again. By morning, the village was a rumor mill. Did you see Naya dragging a man through the pines? That watch on his wrist looked like a mortgage. House to house, tongue to tongue. My name started coming out of mouths that didn't know me enough to carry it gentle. Chief Otis stopped on my porch, arms folded like a sermon. "Good girls lose their names fast. Be careful," he said. And I said, "Careful or not. I won't let a man die because other people like to talk." You know what I mean? I took my patient to the clinic late that afternoon. The hallways smelled like lemon cleaner and old wood. The floor was cracked linoleum that caught your shoe. The supply cabinet coughed up 2 bandages and a prayer. "This is what we have," I told him. "People come sick, and I hand them scraps. His jaw tightened at the chair with the missing leg. He set it down slow, like a vow he wasn't ready to translate. Then the kids outside caught him with a scuffed football, and Big Eyes asked him to play. And you know how that goes, a grown man who thinks he's king of his own time. Until a 10-year-old tugs his sleeve, he dropped the stiffness and laughed. Not pretty, not practiced, the kind of laugh you don't schedule. For a second, I saw a human being, not a problem, not a cost, not a secret. And then the night remembered it had claws. Cars on the road, dark windows, flash of cameras. He went rigid, grabbed my wrist, said they found me. Who found who, I asked, and that's when the convoy poured in. SUVs that move like they know your future, men in suits with earpieces, a badge on a belt, a bow of a neck, Your Highness, the leader said, and the words hit me like a slap. My patient wasn't a lost businessman. He was Prince Malik Ober Williams, missing for 3 days, heir to a crown I'd only ever seen on screens when the signal didn't stutter. I won't pretend I kept my dignity neat. You lied to me, I said. I kept you safe, he tried, and that made something old and stubborn rise up in me. Don't insult me, try honesty. In 10 minutes he was gone, swallowed by black doors and fast glass. In 15, my porch turned into a press conference nobody invited me to. Is it true? Did you seduce the prince? Are you angling for palace money? Why your bed? Why your house? Why you? Do you think that's fair to demand a woman justify saving a life like it was a theft? A summons followed heavy paper that smelled like perfume and judgment. The Queen Mother wanted me at the palace, not as a guest, as a statement. You ever walked into a room designed to make you feel small marble floors that whisper watch where you step, chandeliers heavy enough to crush anyone who forgets their place? Queen Mother Imani sat like she could move people with an eyebrow, which honestly, she probably could. Selena Dubois, that flawless socialite with history on Malik's arm, smiled at me like a mirror with teeth. Courtiers chuckled into their glasses. I held my spine straight, stared at my hands in my lap, and waited. Then Malik stood. The chair legs scraped, the air changed, and his voice snapped like a whip enough. She dragged me out of fire when death already had its hands on me. Show her the respect she's due, or answer to me. Yeah, that happened. His hand brushed mine under the table, quick, steady, and when I looked up, something unguarded moved across his face like a summer cloud. But in the far corner, Jabari, the younger brother, watched me with the kind of calm that means trouble is already in the room. Fast forward to the ball. Silk champagne flashbulbs the orchestra, giving the night a reason to pretend it's pretty. The palace seamstresses stitched me into a pale blue gown that tried to soften me. Selena arrived wearing the Ober diamonds. Those jewels that say, this is a woman the family favors, and Queen Mother kissed her cheek. Then Malik crossed the floor and held out his hand to me. Dance, he said, his voice a little too even. The room pulled in its breath, and for 60 seconds I forgot there were cameras, forgot there was a world beyond the two of us, moving like we had practiced 100 times in a dream. Phones pinged. Screens flashed. My stomach dropped before my eyes did. The village nurse's ambition, did she target the prince for wealth exclusive? Journal pages and clinic plans. My private journal photographed, posted, spun into a story where my dream to stock antibiotics and keep vaccines cold became proof that I had a crown in my eyes. Kayla's face at the edge of the dance floor looked beautiful and broken, a dress borrowed from someone else's life. A phone bright with messages, a guilt she couldn't hide. The floor tilted under me. I ran. Pattern interrupt. Hurt runs faster than you think. Detective Marcus Cole found me in a corridor that smelled like duty and old paint, voice low and steady. This wasn't an accident, he said. The crash, the ambush. We traced the money. Jabari's name sits heavy on the orders. Your life got tangled in a net the second you touched his. Twist revealed. His own brother tried to erase him. Family, it's always family. 2 nights later, the palace windows shattered into glitter and gunfire. Malik shoved me down, and I shoved him lower, my palms pressed against a wound that kept insisting on being red. Guards poured in like rough water. The smoke laid thick in my throat. When it settled, 2 assassins lay cooling in the courtyard, and Marcus laid the evidence on the table, signed orders, bank trails, hired muscle. Queen Mother's face cracked, not much, just enough to let doubt through. Then she did what power does when cornered. She told me, if you love him, leave him. You divide the council, you stir vultures. If it were you, would you have packed your bag and gone back to the clinic to save him from the cost of loving you? I didn't leave. The next week, I slipped into the city with Kayla to buy supplies and maybe reclaim a piece of ordinary. Ordinary didn't want me. Reporters swarmed microphones pressed close enough to bruise questions like stones. Are you a climber? Are you a seducer? Are you after the crown? Or the man say it to the camera? I almost crumpled right there in the market. Then Malik cut through the noise like a siren. Enough, he said, pulling me to his side. You want your headline, write this. This woman is my future wife, the one who saved me when you gossiped. I was already dead. Cameras clicked. I shook. He kissed my knuckles, and for a second I believed we could outrun it. We couldn't. That same night, I vanished from my bed, woke on a splintered floor that smelled like salt and rust, wrists tied raw, a shadow stepping out of the dark, with a blade hanging easy at his side. Jabari crouched with a smile that never reached his eyes, told me he was going to win either way. Either Malik would give up the throne to save me, or I'd die, and he'd watch his brother crumble. It's a terrible thing to be used as a lever. It's worse to know it works. His note to Malik said, "Dawn, abandoned docks, come alone, unarmed, lay down your claim, and maybe I live." The water slapped the pilings. Gulls screamed like they were cheering for something ugly. Mercenaries lined up with rifles, and Malik walked out there with nothing but his chest. "Let her go, I'm here," he said. And Jabari said, "Kneel, say it, renounce, give me the crown." Malik looked at me, and I swear I felt the words before he spoke them. "I renounce my claim." I shook my head so hard the rope burned deeper. "No! Don't you dare trade a kingdom for me. Don't crawl, fight." Something snapped in him, not a bone, not pride, something stubborn that had been waiting. He moved. The dagger flew first fast and clean, split Jabari's arm. Marcus's shot cracked from the shadows. Loyal guards surged in a tide that had been hiding among the crates, and the dock became a storm. Jabari yanked me by the hair and pressed steel to my throat, and I did the one reckless thing my body knew how to do. I shoved his wrist aside so the gunshot went into wood, not bone. Marcus hit him in the shoulder. He stumbled, snarled, and ran. Cowards always promise to return. Stick around because what happened next will blow your mind. The council chamber filled like a lungs, nobles on one side, ministers on the other, villagers spilling into the gallery led by Grandma Mabel, whose cane kept time on marble. Jabari sat in chains, still smirking, calling Malik weak for choosing love over lineage. Marcus dropped receipts, money trails, contracts, footage. Selena, dress torn from the docks, voice shaking, but steady, said, "I recorded everything he ordered Naya's death." You could feel the room turn, not fast, not dramatic, just that slow pivot when truth finally finds the mic. Queen Mother looked at me long and hard, weighed tradition against evidence, pride against survival, then spoke in a voice that reached the rafters. "Crown him." The coronation, didn't feel like a fairy tale, it felt like a choice in public. When the gold touched his head, Malik walked down, knelt in front of me, like it was the easiest thing he'd ever done, Nia Johnson. Will you marry me not as charity, not as apology, but as the truth I have been walking toward since the night you pulled me out of fire? I said yes, because love is the one risk I've never regretted taking. Months are funny, they stretch and snap. Supplies arrived at the village like rain after a long, dry season, trucks with crates of medicine, a generator that didn't cough itself to death, refrigeration for vaccines, clean linens, textbooks for the little school. People cried in doorways. Chief Otis pretended to grumble, and then blessed us with a nod. Kids yelled my name like I was the parade. We painted the sign together, Johnson Community Health Center letters, shaking a little at the edges, because my hands wouldn't stop trembling. Malik set down a box, wiped sweat from his brow with the back of his hand, and nobody said a prince shouldn't carry crates, because what mattered that day wasn't rank, it was weight, and we shared it. But let me be honest so you can trust me. Happy endings are messy, they spill. Some people still look at me like I cheated, like I grabbed a ladder somebody else deserved, like love is nepotism with better storytelling. Some days the palace halls feel like a maze designed by a person who hates joy. Some nights I still wake up tasting smoke, touching the spot on my wrist where a stranger begged me to lie. Queen Mother and I are not friends. We are something harder and maybe more real. Two women who love the same man in different languages, learning not to translate each other into enemies. And Jabari? Exile is a word people say like it's a cure, but all it really means is a cage with a view. I can feel him out there angry, plotting a weather change you sense before the wind shifts. So I'll ask you plain, the way I wish someone had asked me when all this started. Do titles matter more than service? Should a crown dictate who gets to build a clinic? Is funding public good through private love, justice, or favoritism? And if a woman from a dirt road ends up in marble halls because she wouldn't let a man die, does that make her a thief of status or a steward of a miracle? If it were you, would you have hidden him like I did, or called the ambulance, taken the photos, told the truth to whomever showed up first, and let the chips break where they may? Do you think that's fair to ask the poor to be pure while the rich get to be complicated? Here's what I know today, and I promise you, it might change tomorrow, because that's how surviving works. Love isn't soft. It's a shovel. It digs. It blisters. It breaks ground, where ground swore it wouldn't give. Duty without love is just cold metal, huh? Without duty is a beautiful lie. We're trying to braid them into something that can hold the weight of both a crown and a clinic. Some days we get it right, some days we argue in whispers so the staff won't hear. Some days we stand together at the clinic door and watch a kid who used to wheeze like a broken accordion run across the yard with lungs that finally sing, and those days make the rest feel survivable. I've told you my story, not neat, not perfect, just true in the way scars are true. Now it's your turn. Drop me a comment. What would you have done at that roadside should I have left him for the system to sort out? Did we cross a line using royal resources to build a village clinic? Is the line even real when people are dying for lack of basics? Argue with me, agree with me, tell me where you think I failed. Tell me the moment you think I finally grew up. And if you've got a story where one quick choice changed the map of your life, put it here so we can carry it with you. If this hit anywhere close to the bone, share it with someone who needs to hear that courage doesn't always look like a sword. Sometimes it looks like two old planks, a torn sheet, and a woman who refuses to let a stranger die.